Welcome back, everybody. It's your time to EdUp on the EdUp Experience podcast, where we make education your business. This is Dr. Joe Salustio back with you on another episode. Boy, oh boy, yesterday I discovered we have interviewed now over 350 college presidents on this podcast in the last 5 years, close to 1,100 episodes and over 500,000 or close to 500,000 downloads or plays of the podcast. Continues to grow like wildfire, and we're so honored to be able to provide this industry service to you all. We have a great, rabid group of subscribers who are consuming content, especially those subscriber-only episodes that we have, which are really critical insights into the individual businesses and institutions of which our guests represent. And of course, EdUp editorials, and I've talked about it on this podcast now 100 times, but I have to continue to do it. We have a part of our website where we're publishing articles now for our colleagues across higher education. So if you have a business or you have an institution and you want to write something, tell us about your business. Tell us about something that you're doing. Maybe it's a case study, something good. We publish it and we get you a link and send it out to our worldwide global audience here at the EdUp Experience so people can discover what you want to write about or what you have to say. And I got a guest with me today who has a lot to say in his company that is growing rapidly in a very necessary space that I think is going to be very familiar to many of the staff and faculty that listen to this podcast. Let me bring him in right now appropriately to give him the full range of the EdUp Experience. Here he is, everyone. He's Max Spero. He is the CEO of Pangram Labs. Max, what's going on? How are you?
Hey, how are you, Joe?
You know, I'm doing better now that I'm talking to you, my friend. I've had a heck of a day, but I think that sometimes the favorite part of my day is to be able to discover and learn from people smarter than me. And I know someone that you know that says you are one smart dude. So I'm want to see everything that you know. But before we get there, lay it down for us. What is Pangram Labs? What do you do? And how do you do it? Ellucian Live is taking place April 6th through 9th, 2025 in Orlando, Florida.
You just made the list!
Get ready for an unforgettable experience at Ellucian Live 2025. Join visionary leaders from institutions worldwide as we dive into groundbreaking ideas, cutting-edge solutions, and transformative best practices that will ignite your passion for innovation. This is your chance to connect, collaborate, and propel your institution into the future. Do not miss out.
Let's go!
We're excited to announce the first ever, first of its kind higher education podcast conference brought to you by Edu Alliance, the EdUp Experience, and Podium. This is happening Saturday, July 12th at the University of Illinois Chicago campus. This is an in-person event, one day only, the first of its kind. This is for people working in and around higher education who are interested in starting a podcast, who may have a podcast, want to learn more about podcasting. So if you want to be there, please go to higheredpodcon.com. That's higheredpodcon.com to learn how you can get your early bird registration, see who the keynote will be, and how you can submit proposals to be a part of this amazing inaugural conference. So that, again, go to higheredpodcon.com to learn more. Do you want to get invites to special events? Do you want to get exclusive early access to ad-free episodes, extended episodes, bonus episodes, behind-the-scenes episodes, and original content? Do you want to accelerate your professional development? Well, you can go to edupexperience.com. That's EDUP experience.com and become a subscriber today.
Sure. So Pangram Labs, we're building technology to detect AI-generated content. And I know there's a lot of tools out there that call themselves AI detectors. Some of them work better than others. But our goal is to just be the most accurate, at which we are the most accurate and most trustworthy out there. You know, we're not basically like we are looking at the style of text, say an essay or any other written content, and we're looking what are the stylistic ticks and choices that AI makes more consistently than humans. And then if we could pull that out, and then we can provide some evidence as to like why this is AI or not.
Amazing.
See?
How do you, I mean, there's so many questions that just are rolling through my head all at the same time simultaneously. But obviously, from a faculty and staff perspective, AI usage for creating content and submitting it as your own, and students being discovered, it's a huge fear for students. It's a huge fear that they're going to use AI and be detected. On the other side of the coin, the institution and many faculty are depending on an AI detector because they don't know where the heck the content could be coming from. And so there's like two competing things happening simultaneously, and technology is right in the middle of all this human stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think it's really important to basically, like, we want to be able to enable faculty, professors to set boundaries, right? Because like using AI in and of itself is not plagiarism, it's not cheating. But if you say, hey, don't use AI for this assignment, like I want this in your own words, I want to hear what you have to say about this, not what ChatGPT has to say about this. And then the student uses AI, that's where you get some problems.
What if you working with schools now? What are staff and faculty saying when they learn about Pangram Labs or even bring up AI detection software? Is there an understanding around it? Like, oh, I know what this is, Max, and I'd love to get some of that. Or do you have to go in and say, here's what it is, here's what it does, here's why it's important? What's the level of adoption?
You kind of get the whole spectrum of adoption, the whole spectrum of like understanding of what it is. I think there's some people who are like very familiar with AI detection. They've read Ethan Mollick. They know like kind of what is out there maybe prior to Pangram, and there's a lot of understanding that older AI detection systems have bias against non-native English speakers, have higher false positive rates. And then there's some people who are like, wow, I didn't even know this was possible. But I think regardless, like once people try it and once people see that, hey, this is actually like a lot more accurate, then that's kind of like, that's when we get that wow factor and, people are interested and, maybe even starting to use it in the classroom.
That's ideally, right? So when you think about where to use the product or Pangram Labs, how to use the product, is it an individual faculty to student usage based on individual assignments? Is it an institutional deployment where you've got multiple faculty all across the institution entering the system? How is it deployed and who's using it, and how simultaneously can multiple people be using the software?
Right. Yeah. So I
know that was a very confusing question, Max, wasn't it? So let me maybe ask it in a different way, because I'm thinking simultaneously that I'm adding to the confusion. So let me try to bring it back. I'm an individual faculty member in my classroom. And is Pangram Labs such that I'm buying a license for it? Like my university's bought me a license for it as an individual faculty member, and I can use it for my classroom. Is it an enterprise license that my institution can use and deploy it across all the different courses and faculty? How is it deployed? Let's start there.
Yeah. So the answer to your question is both.
Basically, it was going to be confusing. No, it's fine. That's what I was expecting.
Yeah. So a faculty can buy an individual license for Pangram, and what that gets them access to is a dashboard where they can upload student submissions and check for AI, get like a nice PDF report that says like, yeah, either this is clean, no AI detected, or like there's AI and this is where it is in the submitted document. And so that's kind of like the level one, which a lot of people can use. You can actually like use it for free and check up to 5 things a day. But if you want to be checking more than that, then you get an individual license. We also have institutional licenses where a university can come to us and say, hey, we want this for all of our faculty. And that's where we can get this a lot cheaper and honestly get more people using Pangram, which is always our goal.
So I'm looking at the website right now, pangram.com. And so first of all, the claim. So just go into this a little bit. The most accurate AI detector technology.
Yes.
Is there, because I do hear a lot about inaccuracy of detection software. What makes you the most accurate? How is it measured? And that claim is a really important one to make.
Yeah, so we've measured this on our own, but also there have been three um, academic studies, some of which are peer reviewed and they're published. And these are from academics and PhD students and like computer science departments within the US. And kind of what they are looking at is, yes, how accurate are these tools? And so oftentimes these studies are comparing several different tools. And then not only that, but like what is the false positive rate? So there's kind of like two things to pull out with an accuracy. One is how often do you say that something is, how often do you have a human written document and then say that it's AI? Because obviously that's a big problem if this happens a lot. And then the other side of it is how often do you have an AI written document that gets past the detector? The detector says the AI written document is human. So all three of these academic studies have found Pangram to be over 99% accurate,
Wow.
which, yeah, I think is really good. In comparison, I don't want to name too many names, but Turnitin has also released their own benchmarks on their AI detection model and its accuracy, and they found on GPT-4 it's about 74% accurate. So like 74% versus 99, that's the difference.
That's a significant difference. That's just like that's I mean, I'd be nervous about. I mean, I'm a faculty member. I'm an administrator. If I'm going to use something, I want it to be so accurate that I don't disrupt my students. I worry about false positives disrupting students. I've actually seen it personally, and I've seen the havoc that can cause on the institution, on the student, on the grievance policies, on the amount of effort and time and money you put into fixing a false positive. Even it's mind blowing.
Yeah, and our false positive rate is 1 in 10,000. And so we've calculated this by looking at hundreds of millions of documents that we know are human written because they're written before 2022, before ChatGPT came out. And we're just looking at all of these and pulling out the percentage that we flag as AI. And we find this is less than 0.01%, so less than 1 in 10,000.
Are you looking in the mirror every day thinking this?
I am the smartest man.
I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good detection false positive rate there.
Yeah, I think it's way better than everything else that's out there. And I think the main thing for us is like most people just don't know we exist. And I think that's been like the barrier that we're trying to get our name out there. We're trying to get people using it and get more feedback. But yeah, honestly, I think like the technology is very good, and everybody who tries it is pretty impressed.
Tell them like it is.
When at an institution, as I'm thinking about using artificial intelligence, for many faculty, and I talk to them, I talk to presidents of faculty all the time on this podcast, some revert to catching students cheating. Like when they think about AI, they think, I want to use this AI to catch students cheating when they shouldn't be using AI to submit assignments. But I wonder, to your point that you made earlier, if you're looking at something like Pangram Labs as an enhancement to the way students are progressing through their learning, as just a way to create, it's like when you go bowling and you're 5, or me, one or the other, you put in the bumpers. And so because I throw gutter balls all the time, and having those bumpers in there allows me to get the ball down and maybe hit a couple pins. But if I can use the technology to say, hey, look, okay, you used AI like I asked you to create this framework. Now I want you to write an essay on why this framework applies in your creative way to this concept. But I don't want you to use AI. I'm just going to double check to make sure that you followed the direction. I'm using AI as a companion, not necessarily as a red alert button all of the time, right? I mean, like that's the way to really do this.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that is kind of how we're thinking about it too, is it's like not just the cheating aspect, but we want students to be able to learn how to use AI effectively and like where the boundaries are in the real world. So like when we talk to a lot of people who say like, well, when a student joins a company, they're going to be expected to use AI to be more productive. And I kind of agree with that. But I also think they're going to need to learn the norms of using AI, which is not trying to pass off something that came out of AI as your own, but instead being transparent and using AI to make yourself more productive, learn faster, not to kind of like cheat your way and like pretend you had greater output than you did. And so I think this has a lot of parallels in the classroom too, of just, yeah, making sure students know when is an appropriate time to use AI and how they should be appropriately using AI.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
You said something that I think matters really deeply too. The message that we talk about when we're talking about artificial intelligence, and you said it, and I was like, wow, you're right. We say students who are going to school now are going to be expected to use artificial intelligence in their jobs. That's a fact, one way or another. And you hear the sayings that your job's not in jeopardy. You're not going to lose your job to AI. You're going to lose your job to the person who knows how to use AI, right? When that student gets out and goes to work for a company, you don't get to use, and I don't get to use, any AI program I want to at any time. My company has very specific guardrails. There are AI programs that are available for use. There are AI programs that are completely blocked. And because we have AI governance policies. So that's really almost what you're talking about. Like here's a way for me to start teaching students about AI governance and AI usage as almost as a byproduct of going through their educational process. I mean, it's like a secondary formative learning output. That's pretty cool to think about. Are you going to miss Ellucian Live this year?
I don't think so.
Exactly. So you might as well register right now at elive.ellucian.com. Ellucian Live 2025, April 6th through 9th in Orlando, Florida. Do not miss it.
Did you buy your tickets yet? Higher Education's first podcast conference is coming July 12th. Go to higheredpodcon.com, higheredpodcon.com. Get your tickets. Do you want to get exclusive early access to ad-free episodes, extended episodes, bonus episodes, original content, invites to special events, and more? Do you want to accelerate your professional development? Do you want to get all this while helping to sustain EdUp? Then go to edupexperience.com. That's EDUP experience.com and become a subscriber today.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. If I work at Google and I am pasting my code into ChatGPT and having it help me write my code, then like that's a huge red flag. Like Google security people would be very upset at that because you're leaking your internal code to OpenAI. And so I think very similarly, like being able to set these guardrails early and expecting that students can follow them is like a completely reasonable thing to do.
And I know there's so you're making me laugh because there's so many faculty, staff, administrators right now that have had to have a conversation or have been on the receiving end of a conversation from someone that says, you cannot upload our financials into of ChatGPT. You cannot do that. Don't ever do that again. We're locking it down. And you're right. It's right, because we all think that we could just do whatever we want, but the fact is you're just throwing all your secrets out there.
Yeah. You don't want something you upload to go into OpenAI's training set and make it into the next version of GPT-5.
Oh, man. So what's been the easiest part of this journey? Because you're a startup. You know, Pangram Labs is a startup. You've got this amazing technology. You're trying to get the word out there. What's been the hardest part of getting traction, and what's been the easiest part so far, or maybe the part that had the least amount of barriers for you as you're growing your business?
Yeah, so my background is as a machine learning engineer. I used to work at Google. And so kind of like what always comes natural to me is coding and building the product. So that was like the easy and fun part. I felt like even though we're working 100-hour weeks trying to get this out there, it's still like fun and natural. Oh no, it was so fun. Early on, when we started the company, we rented a house in San Diego and just like worked out of that for a week, and just that was super fun because we had no distractions. It was just like the two co-founders and eating fish tacos and writing code.
Your idea of fun and mine are a little bit different, Max. Okay, but keep going. So that's the fun part. And what's been the hard part?
Hard part is, I think, just like the marketing part, the marketing side. Like I consider myself a pretty humble person, so I need to like get out of my shell and get out of my head and talk about how good the product is accurately. I noticed I was already catching myself saying like people are fairly impressed. I'm like couching my statements a bit, but people are really impressed. It's a really good product. And so it's just like, yeah, getting out of my shell and talking about it.
I think
that's
good.
That's what I'm here to do.
Yeah, and you're doing a great job. And part of being on a podcast is, the great thing is that we don't produce a video. So it's only audio. You don't know if somebody's doing cartwheels or somersaults or sitting in their chair. They could be doing whatever they want. But higher ed's also finicky. We get set in our ways with the products that we use, that we like. Sometimes the cycle to sell into higher education, like even if I'm interested in a product, there's procurement, there's committees, and this shared governance structures, and people are going to go, oh, wow, you said shared governance in such a negative way. Well, sometimes shared governance is good, and sometimes it's just not. And it's sometimes hard to get there, even when there's an interest. But right now is a very unique time in higher ed. We're seeing massive disruption across the industry, and we're seeing students demand different tools and ways to learn. Like this is you have something here where you say, boy, could I use this as a guardrail system to enhance and catalyze student learning, not just as a program that I have to shove something through to detect cheating. You could do that, I guess, but it's like using your smartphone just to make phone calls and not actually to access the internet or do anything else with it. I mean, we're at a time in higher ed where we need to catalyze our business model. We need different tools that enhance the learning process, because frankly, students are just going to go to schools that have these products eventually, don't you think?
Yeah, completely. And we're kind of lucky because, even though like it's a completely transformational time for education, how going to college today looks completely different than going to college 5 years ago because of the advent of AI and all of this transformational technology that's happened. That's changed everything. But I think we're also kind of lucky because we don't really need to change the frameworks of education and teaching too much. A lot of schools are already used to using Turnitin, so using Pangram is more or less a drop-in replacement. And so hopefully in that sense, it's easier. But yeah, it is just like, there's just it is also a bit of an uphill battle trying to educate people and help set these norms when right now, like there aren't really even norms on like, how do I set an AI policy in my syllabus? Should AI policies be university-wide or just for an individual class or on a per assignment basis? And I think like all of these people everybody's feeling it out at the same time.
And even down to the faculty member, where you could have a faculty member who says, you are not allowed to use AI in my classroom. And if I discover you have used AI of any kind, you immediately fail my class. And on the other side of the spectrum, you have faculty members that are designing AI assignments for you to be creative with AI usage. And so we're in the middle of probably what happened with the smartphone, probably what happened with the calculator, this wide adoption curve. How do you get to, or how do you think about getting to the most innovative people? Do you scour the internet and go, oh, wow, here's a school that's adopting technology quickly? Is it, how do you think about where to go with the product? Do you start at innovative universities and you look at like Arizona State or WGU or big universities like that have different educational models? Do you think about the for-profit schools potentially because they don't have as many barriers to procure? Can't say that word today. Procurement. Have you given any thought to the sector strategy?
Right now, to be completely honest, no. It's been mostly just word of mouth, and we're talking to whoever comes to us. I think that's awesome. The best way to do it is like when we have inbound interest, and so we're talking to these people, they're interested. So why go seek out a specific sector that like we could theory craft all we want about like who is going to be the easiest to sell to, but like the reality of it is like we're going to sell to the people who are interested in us and the people who are coming to us.
Yeah, and because they need to solve the problem.
Yeah,
School
they're the
needs
ones
to
who have the
solve
most
this problem.
urgent problem.
And students need it to be solved, and faculty need this problem to be solved. And technology is the only way to really solve it. You need technology to help you understand more technology. What is it like? I'm glad to have you here as a startup founder. What is it like to upkeep a product like this? Is it you just did it once and now you sit on it and it's great? Is it consuming content and papers as they hit the internet and learning itself? I mean, is it the Whopper sitting in a server room somewhere? Probably not. But I mean, what is it like to keep the code up for a product like this?
Something interesting about Pangram is it does need to continually get better. That's something we haven't stopped developing our AI detection model since we started the company. And part of that is just because there's new AI models coming out all the time. And so we have this big data pipeline that's pulling writing samples from all of these different large language models and AI models that are out there. So we're pulling writing samples from them and then incorporating them into our training set and retraining and improving. But I think on top of that, the other thing that we're working a lot on is talking to individual users and incorporating their feedback on how to make the dashboard more accessible and more intuitive and easier to understand. Because yeah, we're a group of technical people, so something that like looks really simple to me is super confusing to somebody who,
like me, you could say it.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who being on a computer is not natural to them, and but we still want to make sure that they're comfortable here and can understand what's going on.
So does the model? Do you have? I mean, what does your staff look like? You're a startup. You got 2 people, 2,000 people. What does it look like? And how slim and bootstrapped are you?
We're currently 5 people right now. So 4 engineers, and then we just recently brought on Elvin, who
Elvin Freitas?
Yes,
the co-founder of the EdUp Experience podcast. Are you serious?
That is crazy. What a coincidence.
Are you kidding me?
No, but yeah, it's been amazing.
Yeah, it's a smart move. I mean, Elvin knows this space. He knows a lot of people. And I will tell you this. When we, and I include Elvin in that, as the business called the EdUp Experience, come across people who have something special that they have developed that we believe has the potential to help solve a massive problem for higher education, we give them the light that they deserve on this podcast. And Max, you do. You have that product. It's a special product. And more than that, you have a very, very group of very smart people building and sustaining that product. You have a motivated team and you're a motivated CEO to help students, to help institutions help students. And that says a lot now because we need help. Institutions need help. You see what's going on out there right now. And it's hard to focus on the student, but the student is the business model.
Yeah, that's completely right. Like our goal is to be maximally helpful, to help the faculty and dealing with academic integrity cases, but also to help the students because, I want the next generation to learn the same critical thinking skills I did, to be like smarter and more skillful than I am. And how do we do that? We need to make sure AI, especially in education, goes right.
Would you just tell me how this happened? Like you and the co-founder are sitting around and you're like, hey man, you guys are just coding or you're staring at the sky. I don't know what you're doing. And you look at each other and go, we should just start a AI detection program. Yeah, sounds great. Let's go build it. I mean, how does this happen? Yeah,
so kind of summer of 2023, GPT-4 had just come out and we were just thinking about like how this is like really transformational technology. Like the early ChatGPT was already really good. And then the new version of ChatGPT had just gotten a lot better. And we're like this. Yeah, it was crazy. Really surprising. But I think like we could see the trajectory. Like AI was accelerating, getting better so quickly. Like it's going to continue getting better. But like, what does that mean? And what are the second order effects on society? And so that's how we kind of came up with AI detection, which to be clear, like we didn't even know it was necessarily possible to do. We just had to start on the problem to try and figure out, how possible is it to solve this?
So which one of you actually came up with the idea?
I was the one who came up with the idea to do AI detection. Bradley was the one who trained the first model.
That's pretty cool. I know something about a good partnership, and that matters a lot. The trust that you put in each other and that you're aligned on helping solve a problem. So, I mean, I want everybody to really hit the website, pangram.com. You could see use cases, the product, learn about the company, the model itself. You could try it out. You can enter some text and try out for check for AI. You can get inspiration, try examples. You can do random reviews, ChatGPT reviews. I mean, you guys have really laid out something special here. How does it feel? How does it feel to have this, to start feeling the momentum? I know Elvin is helping you gain that momentum too. How does it feel? Do you feel excited? Do you feel ready to go?
It's really exciting. I think it's definitely like the most exciting time in my life. I think I feel really motivated because I'm working on a problem that I know is helping people. And I think like we can really help change the world for the better. I know that's like such a cliche when people in tech say like, I'm making the world a better place, but like I really mean it. Like that is in my core what my goal is. And I think we have a good shot at doing this.
I think you have a good shot too, my friend, which is why you're here, which is why I know Elvin and you hooked up and you're going to be doing something special. I, of course, will be here helping from what I do. We do want to get this podcast episode out there so the rest of the higher ed community, our global audience, can hear about you and the work you're doing. What else do you want to say about Pangram Labs? Anything at all? Anything that we haven't discussed? Anything you want to double down on? Open mic, Max. At Ellucian Live 2025, we're going to explore the magic of innovation. We want to imagine, believe, and achieve. It's happening April 6th through 9th, 2025 in Orlando, Florida, and we're going to explore technology, modernization, and
artificial intelligence.
Explore the latest technology solutions, discover industry insights, and make valuable connections as a global community. It's time to register for Ellucian Live 2025 at elive.ellucian.com.
Higher Ed PodCon is coming. Go to higheredpodcon.com. That's higheredpodcon.com to learn more. Do you want to accelerate your professional development? Do you want to get exclusive early access to ad-free episodes, extended episodes, bonus episodes, original content? That's right, original content, invites to special events, and more? Do you want to get all this while helping to sustain EdUp? Then go to edupexperience.com. That's EDUP experience.com and subscribe today.
I would love for people to just sign up for an account and try it out. So it doesn't cost anything. You can get 5 queries a day and try out. I recommend, going to ChatGPT, trying to craft something that would get past an AI detector and see that we still catch it. And then also maybe just throw some random things in. You got an assignment from a student that you're kind of suspicious about, like why don't you check if it's AI or not? And our goal is being useful. But also I think I love to just talk to users and hear about your own experiences. So feel free to shoot me an email. My email is max@pangram.com. So super easy. Or connect with me on LinkedIn and I'd love to chat.
Yeah, it would be interesting that if an institution is using a detector now and they get a score from that detector and they redact the information and then come over to Pangram Labs and stick the same narrative in, what the difference might be if you use Pangram. I think you might be surprised what the technology can do, and you have nothing to lose by trying it. Connect with Max on LinkedIn, hit pangram.com for more information on the company. Try it out for free. Set up your account. Max, it's been an honor and a pleasure having you on. I guarantee this won't be the last time we chat, my friend. And we hope you had a good time. Elvin and I always want to ask our guests, did you have fun talking about your business here on EdUp?
Yeah, thanks so much, Joe. Yeah, it was definitely fun. I'm always a bit nervous going into things, but yeah, this was super great.
There it is, everybody. He is the one and only Max Spero. He is the CEO of Pangram Labs. And you just EdUp'd.